Miter saws. They're fast, accurate, but for some reason, every one of them becomes a shelf for random scrap wood. Well, today we're gonna figure that out and talk about why the miter saw should be in your workshop. Number one, a miter saw isn't magic. It only cuts accurately if you set it up correctly out of the box. Don't go thinking that you can take your miter saw out of the box and it's gonna make perfect cuts every time. You need to double check your fence is square to your blade. You need to make sure that your blade doesn't deflect when you are traveling through the cut. You also need to make sure that your blade is 90 degrees to your table and it is perpendicular 90 degrees to your fence. All of these things are very important. Setting up a miter saw is a critical step in purchasing a new tool like this. So if you find yourself in a position where your cuts don't line up and nothing's fitting together very well, it's a high probability that your miter saw is not calibrated, and you need to take the necessary steps to do that. Next on the list, number 2, is blades matter. That's right, these miter saw blades come free with the saw, and that's about as much as they're worth. It's important to have a high quality saw blade, okay? Now, I am holding up the guard here, but please note that it is unplugged and the plug is right over there. These miter saw blades have what's called teeth. Those teeth have a count to them. The count is how many teeth on the blade does that saw have. The higher the teeth count typically means better quality cuts. The blades that come with these saws, they're good multi-purpose blades, but if you're into high precision woodworking, it's important to replace your miter saw blade. Miter saw blades are one of the easiest upgrades you can make to your miter saw. So if you're having problems with your cut quality, or it's taking a lot of effort to plunge through those cuts, you might want to think about upgrading your miter saw blade. One of the biggest mistakes that beginners make is not supporting your material, and that is tip number 3. For this example, I have what we'll consider a long board. If I need to make a cut, the board is heavier on the end and it wants to tip, as you can see. This gets even more dangerous when the material is too long and you're unable to stabilize it with your hand. It will push down and lift up, and when you're making your cut, it's not going to be accurate at all. Number 3 is supporting your material. Now, supporting your material is very important. Whether you have a stand like this, or if you're on the ground and want to make cuts, you can prop up long boards on one end with scrap wood. Here I do have a stand and I can leverage that stand to level my workpiece and support it on one end or both ends. This particular stand has support on both sides. Whether you need a stand or not, or if you have your miter saw in a stationary location in your workshop, supporting your material through the cut is very important. Miter saws are only accurate if your material stays stationary. Another support feature that this miter saw comes with is a hold down clamp. These come in many different shapes and sizes. Festool makes a really good one that is very quick to deploy. The quickness to deploy makes it more likely for people to use it. This particular one, you tighten down on your piece of material and it will help maintain that inability for it to flex. However, you still need your material supported on the long end. Number 4 is don't cut on the line. Miter saw blades have what's called a kerf. That's the thickness of the blade. I'm going to bring you in for a close-up to show you what I mean by do not cut on the line. I have a piece of material here that has a line on it. Let's bring you in so you can see that. You can see the line right there. When I bring the saw blade down, this particular saw has what's called a shadow line. That shadow line does exactly what it says. Casts a shadow on the piece of material. If you're cutting on the line, what you're doing is you're effectively subtracting a 1/16 of an inch and donating that to science. Don't cut on the line with your miter saw. You cut just before the line so that your blade kerf hits right before the line, and that is going to give you your most precise cut. So again, just know that a miter saw has what's called a blade kerf, and you do not cut on the line, but instead you cut just before the line so that the kerf of your blade just barely touches your pencil line. Number 5, don't force your way through the cut. If your saw blade is dull and you find yourself having to push too hard into your material to get it to cut, that's a good indicator you need to replace your saw blade. Slower usually produces a cleaner cut. And the sharper the blade, it's going to do all the work for you. It's kind of like a shopping cart. If you're wrestling with it, it's just not going to do a good job. Aggressive cuts create tear out, burning of the material, and a lot of vibration. It's not going to be a pretty picture. You won't have a clean cut or an accurate cut if you're forcing the blade through your material. Number 6, the dust collection is a lie. I don't care what brand of miter saw you purchased, the dust bag that comes with your miter saw is trash. You need to throw it away. Dust collection on miter saws is abysmal. Those things blow so much dust, it will put dust in places where it's illegal to have dust. Trust me, I know. The most important thing you can do with a miter saw as it relates to dust collection is to get yourself a dust collection system. Using a hose with proper attachments that fit your miter saw are critical in allowing the dust to be collected at the source. You're going to want to make sure you have a proper hose diameter. If you're reducing hose fittings to connect to your tool, that is also a recipe for disaster. Larger hoses will move larger volumes of air, and you're going to need as much volume of air to move all of that dust away from your miter saw. Number 7 on the list is respect the cut list. Being a disorganized miter saw user is a recipe for disaster. You're going to get yourself in so much confusion that you're not going to know what you have left to cut or where you left off. Having a cut list written down where you can easily check things off your list as you're making your cuts is critical to success at the miter saw. This isn't just a tip for beginners, this is a tip for pros as well. Miter saw cut lists are your bread and butter to successful and efficient production of materials off of the miter saw. As part of a cut list, you're also going to want to label your material. Whether you use sticky notes or just writing in pencil on the material what it is the dimension that you cut. You don't want to keep going back with your tape measure trying to figure out where you put the piece that is 15 inches long and which one is it. Having your material labeled as part of your cut list is going to enhance your efficiency at the miter saw. To wrap things up, those are the 7 tips for beginners and pros alike for your miter saw. If you've learned something, I want you to hit that like button. And if you have a pro tip to share or a beginner tip, comment below because I really want to see all of your tips and help spread the word of your experience with miter saws. Thanks again for watching. That is all for today, and I can't wait to see you on the next Ricksaw.